It was almost midnight when someone knocked on my door, a soft, hesitant knock that didn't match the hour or the neighborhood. My street was quiet, tucked at the edge of a small town where nothing dramatic ever happened. People didn't drop by unexpectedly, especially not after dark, especially not alone. I froze halfway through pouring tea, staring at the door like it might knock again. And it did. 3 gentle taps, as if whoever stood outside was afraid the doorbell would wake the whole world. At that hour, I should have ignored it. But something, instinct, curiosity, fate, pulled me forward. Before I open that door for you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so more Sapphic women can discover these late-night stories here on Sapphic Fiction Hub. Now, let me tell you what I found on the other side of the door. I pulled the curtain aside just enough to see a figure standing under the porch light. A woman around my age, maybe early 30s, shivering beneath a damp gray hoodie. Her hair was loose, sticking to her cheeks from the wind, and her eyes were wide with something that wasn't exactly fear, but close. I opened the door a few inches. "Can I help you?" I asked, voice steadier than I felt. She swallowed hard. I know this sounds strange, but my car broke down 2 streets over and my phone died. Yours was the only house with a light on." Her voice trembled, not dramatically, just enough to make something protective rise in my chest. Normally, I would have been cautious, but something about her didn't feel threatening. Her hands stayed visible, her shoulders curled inward like she didn't want to take up space. Her breathing was unsteady, like the cold had gotten too deep or the night had been too long. "I just need to call a tow truck," she said softly. "I swear I'm not here to bother you." "You're not bothering me," I said, surprising both of us. I stepped aside. "Come in." She hesitated, then stepped into the warm lamplight, closing the door behind her. The house felt different with another presence inside. Smaller, softer, like the air shifted to accommodate her. "I'm Mia, by the way," she said. "Harper," I replied. She gave a faint smile, rubbing her hands together for warmth. Under the light, I noticed things I hadn't outside. Her eyes were warm hazel, but exhausted, the kind of exhaustion that didn't come from a broken car. Her lips were slightly parted, as if she was still catching her breath. Her hoodie smelled faintly of rain and something floral. She held the phone I offered her, but didn't dial immediately. "You can make the call," I encouraged gently. "I know," she said. "I just needed a minute." "A minute for what?" She took a deep breath, eyes lowering, to stop shaking. It wasn't until she said it that I noticed. Her hands were trembling. "Sit," I said quickly. "Let me get you something warm." She nodded, almost grateful. I poured her a mug of tea and placed it in her hands. When she wrapped her fingers around it, a soft sigh escaped her lips, the first sound that wasn't tight with nerves. "Are you okay?" I asked. She laughed weakly. "That's a big question for midnight." She sipped the tea, then looked at me over the rim of the cup. "I'm not scared of the dark," she began quietly. "I'm not scared of being alone." Another breath. But tonight, something felt wrong, like someone was behind me when I walked. A chill crept up my spine. "Did you see anyone?" No. That's what made it worse. I sat across from her at the small kitchen table. The lamp cast a soft glow over her face, highlighting her cheekbones, the shape of her mouth, the delicate drop of rain still clinging to her jaw. She noticed me looking. "What?" she whispered. You don't look like someone who scares easily." Her eyes held mine. Almost too long. "I don't, but tonight wasn't normal." She shifted her chair closer, not dramatically, but enough for the air between us to change. The house felt quieter. The night outside felt heavier. "Thank you for letting me in," she said. "You're welcome." "No, really." Her voice softened. "You helped more than you know." Finally, she dialed the towing company, her voice steadied as she explained the situation. "They said 30 to 40 minutes, she told me. "You can stay here until they arrive." "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. "You seem like you could use the company." We moved to the living room, the only sound the soft hum of an old lamp. She pulled her legs onto the couch, hoodie falling open to reveal a simple black tank top underneath. Her collarbones glowed in the warm light. I pretended not to notice. I failed. "You live alone?" she asked. "Yeah. You?" She shook her head. "Roommate moved out last month. The silence has been new. Hard. Confusing," she admitted. We sat there, silhouettes against the lamplight, two strangers with the kind of tension that shouldn't exist after 20 minutes of knowing each other. "Why did your roommate leave?" I asked gently. Her fingers tightened on the mug. "She said I'm too much in my own head, too quiet, too complicated." "Complicated doesn't mean difficult," I said. She looked at me like I'd said something she needed to hear. The house went dark. Everything. In an instant. Mia gasped, nearly spilling her tea. I reached for her instinctively, my hand finding her forearm in the dark. "It's okay," I whispered. "Just a power outage. This happens sometimes in storms." She froze under my touch, not in fear, but in awareness. "Don't let go," she whispered. I didn't. In the dim glow of distant streetlights filtering through the window, I saw her features soften. She leaned closer, breath shaky, but not frightened anymore. "I hate the dark," she admitted. "Not earlier. Not before. Now." "Then you're safe here," I murmured. Our hands intertwined without either of us deciding first. Her thumb grazed my palm, an accidental touch that lingered too long to be accidental. The air thickened with a quiet tension, the kind that made my heart beat louder than the wind outside. "Harper?" she whispered, like testing my name. "Yes?" "You're warm." Her voice cracked just enough to break me a little. She leaned in slightly, not enough to be forward, but enough for me to notice, enough for me to understand. We sat there, faces inches apart, her breath mingling with mine. "Do you want to move closer?" I asked softly. Her lips parted, not for words, but for air. "I'm already closer," she whispered. Her forehead brushed mine, faint, warm, trembling. Not a kiss, just a question made out of breath and proximity. "I don't usually do this," she murmured. "Neither do I." "Then why am I—" She didn't finish because her breathing hitched as my fingers slid gently from her forearm to her wrist, grounding her. Her eyes glowed in the faint light, searching mine for something she didn't dare ask for. "Does this feel wrong?" she whispered. "No," I said. "It feels human." Her shoulders loosened for the first time. "Then don't move," she murmured. "I won't." Far away, a distant rumble echoed, a truck engine. Mia inhaled sharply. "They're here." Neither of us moved. "I should go," she said. "I know." We remained frozen, forehead to forehead, for a few seconds more, long enough to mean something. When she finally stood, her hand grazed mine again, a light, lingering touch. "Thank you for everything," she whispered at the door. "You can come back," I said before thinking. She stopped, turned slowly, looked at me like she wasn't sure if she'd heard right. "I can?" "Yes," I breathed. "Anytime?" Her smile broke slowly across her face,
soft and full of something hopeful. I might take you up on that. She stepped into the night, but before leaving the porch, she looked back one last time. Wet hair, soft eyes, hoodie hanging loosely. Moonlight outlining every delicate angle of her face. A moment suspended in silver light. A moment I knew wasn't the end. If this midnight knock stirred something in you too, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so our Sapphic community grows here at Sapphic Fiction Hub, where every night brings a new possibility, a new connection, and another woman you'll never forget.